let me tell you some of the cities that, based on what the Commissioner of Baseball had to say, are off the list for the All-Star game. In addition to Atlanta, these are all minority-majority cities. Phoenix, Arizona, because their legislature is looking at cleaning up their voting laws. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Detroit, Michigan. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Houston, Texas. Dallas, Fort Worth. Miami, Florida. And others. These are just off the top of my head. So all these cities are out. All these cities are out. So you watch where Major League Baseball goes. They're probably either going to go to California or New York. Maybe to Illinois. But they're going to go to the darkest of dark blue states. That's what they're going to do. So Major League Baseball, like professional basketball, like professional football, are at war with Republicans, and they are prepared to damage minority communities, which will lose hundreds of millions of dollars if they're located in red states. It is outrageous. And you know what it is? It's the false self-righteousness. You got to be for some kind of resistance and rebellion and revolution, even if you don't know what the hell you're doing. So now you're for a cause that doesn't even exist. There is no Jim Crow. There is no inhibition to vote if you're an American citizen who's supposed to vote. And you don't have a right to make your own rules. I want to vote any way I want to vote. You know, I'm going to put it in little paper airplanes and throw it at the courthouse, and that should count. 1,000 different ways to vote. No, that's not the way it works. There's certain ways you can vote, and everyone has to follow the process. If you're incapacitated or if you're handicapped, there are ways for you to vote. If you're out of town, there's ways for you to vote. Asking people for the ID, now if you consider that racist, then you're a liar. You're a fraud, just like all these fools who are on the social media today. You're a liar and you're a fraud. I think of the people who suffered under Jim Crow. I think of the people who suffered under segregation. It was horrific. Think of all the lynchings that took place, all the whippings that took place, all the horrific treatment of black people that took place. It's horrific. And to bring that up, Jim Crow, the segregated South, to try and create emotions, to try and create division, to try and justify the existence of the Democrat Party, who did all these things to black people, is grotesque. And to watch professional athletes who live in the lap of luxury like no other human beings before them, to participate in this is disgusting. And to watch these frauds on TV, stop watching them. Mouthpieces who lie about what's taking place. It's also disgusting. Because it's a relative small percentage of the population, a relative handful of Democrat Party operatives and others, most of whom are white, who are driving this agenda. Have you noticed, folks, that it's always anti-Republican? Have you noticed that? It's always anti-Republican. They back Joe Biden. They'll back anybody. It doesn't matter. They don't support voting rights. They support Democrat victories. That's what they want. That's what they want on the left. That's all. And now they have networks like ESPN 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12. Who backed them? You heard Lester Holt the other night that I played him? Backs them. Virtually every cable channel but one backs them. Virtually every newspaper but a handful back them. Every college classroom. Now the NEA and government schools are involved in it. But professional sports is at war with you. I don't care what your color is. I don't care what your background is. If you're a red-blooded American, they're at war with you. They are pushing this neo-Marxist agenda. They are pushing the Democrat Party agenda. They like AOC. They like Bernie Sanders. It's true. They talk about systemic this and systemic that. It is they on the left who are systemic bigots. It is they. What professional baseball did today should cause you to never, ever want to watch their game on cable. Never, ever to purchase any player, jerseys, signed balls, nothing. And you should contact the ownership office of the baseball team you follow and ask them how that owner voted. Because according to the league, they did a survey of the owners. And I feel bad for the Atlanta Braves, and I feel bad for the people of Atlanta. The Atlanta Braves were absolutely furious about what took place and very upset. But they had no say in it. They couldn't stop it. And I feel terrible for the people of Atlanta who've been misled by the Democrat Party. And you need to understand, Joe Biden wanted your vote, Joe Biden got your vote, and Joe Biden just screwed you out of hundreds of millions of dollars. That's what Democrats do. So all these cities I just mentioned, in states that are looking seriously at reforming their voting laws, Phoenix, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Detroit, Milwaukee, Houston, Dallas-Fort Worth, Miami, and others, Tampa, all of you are off the list. Now, are you off the list today or are you off the list forever? You're now on a hit list by professional baseball. And LeBron James thinks it's great. He's now announced that he's part of the Major League Baseball family. Okay, I'll announce I'm part of the NBA family, okay? Mark Levin, I'm part of the NBA family. Here I am. What an arrogant guy. Just unbelievable. Now Michael Jordan's talking. He has to because all these years he didn't. Now he's down for the revolution. And, of course, Magic Johnson. Systemically bigoted America has been so horrible to Magic Johnson. So horrible to so many people that we can't keep people out of the country. They're calling over the border. We're living a lie here. This is not reality, what's taking place. But if we do not push back, this is going to get worse and worse and worse. Push back. No Coke products. No Nike products. There's alternatives. No Delta Airlines. No Major League Baseball. There's so many other things to do with your life. I'll be right back.
The Mark Levin Show, live and national at 877-381-3811.
I would say this to every Republican legislature in the country and every Republican state attorney general in the country. You need to review your statutes as applies to professional sports and determine if there's any preferences given to these professional sports corporations or the leagues. And they're at war with us, and you need to be at war with them. Any privileges that they receive must be revoked. They must be challenged now. They've lied about what took place in Georgia. They got involved in the presidential election. It's time to push back. Right now. It's time to push back. We don't need to be victims of this. We don't need to be punching bags anymore. So I'm calling on Republican state legislatures, and I'm calling on Republican state attorneys general. Look at your books. If there's any privileges that are provided to professional sports, you need to remove them. Look at your own state antitrust laws and your own state consumer laws. Look at your tax laws. If professional sports or professional athletes are benefited, well, stop it. Put an end to it. I'm sick and tired of people who don't put their hand over their heart when the American flag's up there, knowing how many people have died. I'm sick and tired of people disrespecting the national anthem, pushing their neo-Marxist agenda, and the clowns and the fools that follow behind and don't even know what they're following. I'm sick and tired of being called names for things I never did and never would dream of doing. I'm sick and tired about the lies and the propaganda. Watching multimillionaires, whether they're owners or players, put down working class Americans. I'm fed up with it. So the Republicans need to understand now what they're up against. Major professional sports are interfering with our elections. Big tech is interfering with our elections. Hollywood's interfering with our elections, and they should be treated appropriately. Defend yourselves, Republican legislatures. Rally around the Georgia legislature. Nothing they did is Jim Crow. Nothing they did is wrong. Joe Biden has a long history of racism against black people. He does. His party does. So every Republican legislature in this country, every Republican state attorney general, you need to defend your state, defend your cities, and defend your country. I'm tired of these millionaires and billionaires in sports and in Hollywood, in communications and wherever the hell they are, lying to the American people as the Brink trucks goes up to the fan base and they make hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, in some case billions of dollars. I'm sick of them trashing half of the American people while doing business with a genocidal regime in China, a genocidal regime in Cuba, or wherever else where they can get a shekel or two. They're frauds. The commissioner of Major League Baseball, I actually want to thank you. You finally awakened half the country, you dumb bastard. That's right, I said it. And the people of Atlanta should be furious with what's been done to them for no damn reason. And metropolitan areas all over this country should be very concerned about what just took place. And they're being saluted by Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson and LeBron James. They're being saluted at ESPN. What's been done to the people of Atlanta? There's a big divide, just like all white people aren't the same and all Latino people aren't the same, all Catholic people aren't the same, all Jewish people aren't the same, all black people aren't the same either. I mean to tell you, despite the impression that some people want to create, individual human beings think for themselves. And professional sports and professional broadcasting and professional ESPN, professional columnists and all the rest, professional politicians, they just ganged up against you. They want you to actually follow them into your own demise. You're the plaything of the left. That's what you are. And if the left has its way, we all will be. And I want to get to the Olympics in a moment, too. The Olympic athletes, who do they think they represent? They represent the United States of America. Now, if they're embarrassed by that, or if they hate our country, then don't go to the Olympics. The Olympics aren't for you. I don't care what you've been told your whole life. I don't care how much you've worked out. You wear that American flag. If you want to be Colin Kaepernick, then don't go. You're going to be in communist China where they're slaughtering people as you're running races and throwing things and jumping and doing all the rest. You are going to be in communist China. It's like Berlin, 1934. You're going to be there, and you're going to protest against the United States of America? while you're in communist China? And the U.S. Olympic Committee is giving you the authority to do it? It's pushback time. It's not enough to complain anymore. It's not enough to shake your head anymore. It's pushback time. And you can have an effect. There are tens of millions of you. There are millions of you in this audience. Oh, I know. I'll get to John Boehner in the last hour. This is the sort of thing John Boehner hated. Because I told you, I'm not only a broadcaster, I'm an activist. And I called out that dumb fool. The first one to call out that dumb fool. I've seen him twice in my life. Both times he has a cigarette in one hand and a drink in the other. He always looked schlosh to me. I'm not saying he was, but he always looked it to me. His eyes were always, hazy and gazy and all the rest of it. So I don't know what's going on with that guy. But he never, whatever. He always looked a little off to me. Let's go to the Olympics. The United States Olympic and Paralympic Committee has announced that it will not sanction athletes who kneel for the national anthem at the Olympic trials in support of social or racial justice movements. All I can tell you is this. What do you think the World War II generation thinks about this stuff? Those who are still with us. What do you think they think about this? What do you think the men and women in this country, you watch these shows, Wounded Warriors, Tunnel to Towers, you see the men on the screen? Some of them lost both legs and an arm, a leg and an arm and a hand. Some of them had brain injuries. You see those men? Are they celebrated? Are they celebrated? How about the cop that ran into a grocery store in Boulder, Colorado and was killed, murdered, because he wanted to save the people there, 51 with a wife and 7 children? Is he celebrated? They're going to take a knee or do something else stupid to show their protest against the United States of America in communist China? And that's okay with this Olympic Committee? What kind of BS is this? Destroying every aspect of this culture and society. That is just wrong. It is evil. It is repulsive. Athletes may also advocate vocally for their causes. Sarah Hirschland, CEO and USOPC, commented the work of the group's Council on Racial and Social Justice. I have a better idea on racial and social justice. While you're in China, why don't you march on Beijing and let them know what you think about racial and social justice? You're going to the center of a communist regime where several million people are currently in concentration camps, where they're destroying the freedom in Hong Kong, where they have their sights on Taiwan. That's the perfect opportunity. Let's see if these brave Olympians are going to protest real racial and social injustice when they're in communist China. Will they be using Nike gear? Gee, I wonder. You going to join me, LeBron? How about Michael? How about Magic? You going to join me? And the Olympians should rise up and protest racial and social injustice in communist China. They should use their voices, their clothing, hand signals, whatever they want, to protest what communist China is doing to innocent human beings, harvesting their organs. The Council on Racial and Social Justice also made it clear there's a deep desire for Team USA athletes to speak on these issues and to lead as a positive force in our community. The guidance also underlined actions that are not permitted, such as defacing an American flag or engaging in racist or hate speech. But if you trash your country, that's okay. Just don't burn the flag. Just don't. Otherwise, the door is wide open. Hirschland said the committee will evaluate its guidance ahead of the 2021 Tokyo Olympics. When are the Chinese? Hold on a second here. Got my Olympics messed up. When are the Olympics in Communist China? You want to look that up, Mr. Producer? 2022. Oh. Wait, the Communist Chinese Olympics are in 2022? And the Japanese Olympics are in 2021? Is that what you're telling me? Oh, no wonder they're so brave. I apologize. I have to fix this. No wonder they're so brave. It's in Japan. Oh. Sure, you can hate America and Japan. That won't be a problem. But what do you think of this, ladies and gentlemen? Remember, representing the United States, no. Representing Ernie Grabatsky. And Ernie Grabatsky doesn't like America. So he can put up his fist, he can cover his face, he can give it the finger, he can do whatever he wants because of racial and social injustice in America. They're going to humiliate our country on the international scene. Humiliate our country on the international scene. What has happened here? I'll tell you what's happened here. The left is in charge. You're getting a taste of tyranny. And you can see in the not-so-distant future totalitarianism. That's what it is. Cancel culture. Indoctrinating your children about gender. Indoctrinating your children about racial hatred. Trashing your country at the earliest age. You're getting a taste of what it's going to be like one day if you don't fight back. Fight back against these corporations. Fight back against these school systems. Fight back against Hollywood. You have the power, you know. Stop supporting them. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.